All right, hey guys, welcome into this episode of LA Sports Hub's official podcast. This is episode 8. We're sitting down with a new crew from Fansided. I'm Keith Rivas from LA Sports Hub.
I'm Tom West, co-editor of Clipaholics.
I'm Aaron Valencia. I'm a writer for LA Sports Hub. Mostly, I write a variety of articles, but I mostly pertain to Dodger articles.
Got a lot of baseball news, but first, we wanted to kick things off with the show with the Clippers. Tom, I want to ask you, you've been talking to me a little bit about Doc's rebuilding of the team and what he's done this offseason. They've added Lance Stevenson, they've added Paul Pierce, they've added a number of other people, at least re-signing them. The big one was DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah.
What do you make of what the Clippers have done with what they've got?
Well, I think the main thing was the fact they had such a small amount of cap space. Like they really didn't have any leeway when free agency started. And obviously the playoffs, they got blown out by the Rockets after losing that 3-1 series lead, and that was a lot down to their bench. So that now they've totally rebuilt their bench, obviously getting DeAndre back, that was huge. Like he was basically sort of almost like certainly gone to the Mavs. But no, they've got Pierce, Paul Pierce. He can probably come in as starting small forward. Lance Stevenson, he'll probably take a lot of the bench backcourt minutes. Josh Smith is a big upgrade over Glenn Davis to back up Blake Griffin. And then also Cole Aldridge is a good defensive backup to replace Spencer Hawes. So, yeah, they've done a lot with very little money.
Do you think they're a playoff team, Aaron?
I do believe they're a playoff team. I think they're maybe for the top team in the West, maybe.
Wow, that would be interesting because San Antonio. I want to ask you guys actually, what do you think of San Antonio? They added Aldridge, they added back Tony Parker, they added Tim Duncan again, and Manu Ginobili, and Danny Green, and a bunch
Marcus
of minor
Aldridge, yeah.
players, a bunch of minor role players. Is San Antonio overhyped though, or do you think that they're worth championship conversation?
I wouldn't say they're overhyped. I'd say they've definitely lived up to it now. I mean, LaMarcus Aldridge, he's not only going to help them this year with he'll be a great front court duo with Tim Duncan, but they've got him in place for the future along with Kawhi Leonard, so they've got like a new duo to take over, which is big. But no, I think for this year they've added some new minor pieces, and obviously LaMarcus Aldridge. Timmy's getting older, like he's still great, but he is getting on. So yeah, LaMarcus Aldridge can sort of take over. So Pop, he always watches their minutes. So LaMarcus Aldridge can help keep Timmy ready for the playoffs, and yeah, they've got a lot of their guys back. So yeah, I'd say they're at least a top 2 seed.
What do you think, Aaron? Are the Spurs overhyped at all, or are they worth?
No, they're a top tier team, of course. I wouldn't take them over the Clippers though. I think the Clippers are more younger, more talented.
Yeah.
I just think they're all around. And then they got their playoff leadership, and then they have a point guard, Stevenson, to back up Chris Paul, and that's really what they need. That's what they really lost. That's what really cost them their series against the Rockets.
What about having DeAndre Jordan back specifically? Because I feel like the Clippers really lacked a closeout player against the Rockets. I think that cost them dearly, especially in Game 6 in Staples Center. If they had had somebody like Paul Pierce to help them through that and close off the Rockets, you're talking about a team last year that might be the one squad that could beat the Warriors, and that could have changed the entire impact of the finals, the Western Conference, how all that turned out. Is DeAndre's impact going to be that significant in 2016?
Well, it's huge to have him back. I mean, it's obviously they already had him last year. They still lost to the Rockets, but his defense is huge. Like without him, they averaged a 3-point loss to opponents per 100 possessions, and with him they lead by about 16 points. So it's a huge swing when he's on the floor. So no, he's obviously massive. And then I think a lot of the reason they lost was mentality. Really, like they had no composure. Like once they got that 3-1 series lead, like all they had to do was win one game. It looked like a lock. So I think Pierce, he can really help like team up with Doc. 'Cause obviously they've got so much history together. Just keep the young guys, calm and balanced, and that will go a long way. Along with obviously DJ.
Aaron, what do you think about the Lakers versus Clippers rivalry that's going on? Are the new moves that both teams have made going to make that something that's watchable, or is it going to be disaster like last season.
It's going to be a rivalry, not too big. I think the Clippers will run over the Lakers, no doubt. But the Lakers will make it more challenging this year than last year. That's of course, for sure.
I'm interested to see how the new additions like Roy Hibbert and everybody's gonna come on because Lou Williams, the guy that they signed from the Toronto Raptors,
Hmm.
coming in as a sixth man of the year last year. I mean, he's gonna be huge, and I think they're really good at picking up sleeper people.
Hmm.
People that are really quiet or slowly going into the background, and they're trying to build something, but I don't know what they're trying to build, like a Lego starship. They got a blindfold on, and it's
Yeah.
just funny to watch it because you know what they're trying to go for, but what they're actually building is a complete something opposite. So, hey, that's the Lakers. One more Clippers question, guys. Sorry, with Jamal Crawford. That's kind of been the talk. I've seen a little bit of it on Twitter, and Tom was talking to a little bit about it off camera. And Tom, we'll start with you on this one again. Should they trade Jamal or should they keep him around?
Well, it totally depends if they can get their money's worth back. Because he's still got value, like he's still a good player, but I just don't think he fits in their team now. They've got because last year he really had to carry the bench, like he was that only guy who could score in double digits on a consistent basis. But now they've got Smith, Stevenson, even Wesley Johnson can make a little difference. So they just don't really need him. So if they think, because obviously they've now just signed Pablo Prigioni last night, so they've got their third backup point guard. But if they could trade Crawford for like another big man, that would really be the only way I think they should get rid of him. And plus, his contract's nearly $6 million, so it would help free them up a bit for the future. If they could get a tough big on like a vet's minimum, I'd say that would be a good move.
Should they trade Jamal, Aaron?
They definitely should trade Jamal Crawford. They got Paul Pierce on the roster, Lance Stevenson, J.J. Redick. I think they can take over what Jamal Crawford brings to the Clippers, definitely. So I think they should trade him for sure.
Do you guys think that the bench of the Clippers is going to have a bigger role than maybe even the starting five, or do you think it'll balance out?
Well, I think the bench is sort of the X factor because we know the starting five they'll deliver. I mean, now and again,
Right.
CP3 and Blake they might have a bad game, but they're always going to be there. Their production is going to be there. So yeah, it really hinges on the bench whether they live up. If they gel together, they've got a couple of streaky players. Like Stevenson's coming off a bad year, but if they find their form, yeah, definitely they're the X factor to watch. I'd say.
Hmm.
Same, Aaron? Do you agree?
Yeah, I think their bench is that's the only thing that's really shaking them up from not going to the championship, going over the level, getting over the hump. So that's mainly the thing they got to fix, and hopefully the bench could work out. But they got some players that they added on their roster that I think will make a difference in Stevenson, Paul Pierce. So then they got that clutch factor in their team.
And moving to baseball, Aaron, we'll start with you on these questions.
Mm-hmm.
Dodgers and Angels clearly need to, change something. The Dodgers have the division lead, right?
Mm-hmm.
But their pitching is pretty awful at times, and trying to win playoff baseball with that, I don't know how they're going to do it. With the Angels, they really need consistency by players other than Mike Trout and Pujols because
Mm-hmm.
those two guys, God forbid, they can't pull a team through the playoffs on their own.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think is going to happen coming up with the baseball trade deadline?
On the Dodgers side, I know for sure they're going to go after starting pitchers. They have Johnny Cueto on their radar. They got Cole Hamels. I think Cole Hamels is the best pitcher they should go after. He's going to bring in veteran leadership, and it's also been the playoffs for the Dodgers, and they need that third arm. Maybe can go before Mike Bolsinger. And Brett Anderson's kind of got injured the other day, so he may be going down. They said he's not going to go on a DL, but he may be going on a DL, so they need to add a lot of starting pitchers, maybe more arms in the bullpen. And then on the Angels side, they just need to add more weapons offensively because they can't depend on Mike Trout and Albert Pujols.
What about you? Anything to add, Tom?
Not really. I'm not much of a baseball guy, but yeah, I'd probably agree. Yeah.
How's the soccer atmosphere in England? Are you a big soccer fan?
I have been in the past. Yeah, I've more gone to the American sports recently, but yeah, particularly basketball. Yeah, but no, it's huge. It's by far the most popular sport here. Yeah, particularly Manchester United and City and Arsenal, Chelsea. Those four. Yeah, Popularity is crazy over here.
Fan bases are just insane.
Yeah.
With the whole NFL to LA talk that I've seen, I am still shocked the Raiders are remotely in the conversation. Because the last thing that Los Angeles needs is Oakland's fans. Lakers fans are bad enough right now because they were already booing the Lakers 5 games into summer league
We
basketball.
don't need the Raiders as well. They're not going to be
No,
happy if they get the Raiders
no,
as well.
they'd boo if they made the Super Bowl, and like that's not no.
It'll be a while until they win the Super Bowl. That's a factor for sure.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a team you would prefer to see move to LA for the NFL?
I would prefer the Rams. I think the Rams are the best option right now to come to LA. They got the fans, they got the money, they got everything intact where they could just move on along. They just need the approval from the NFL.
What about you, Tom? Which team should move out here?
I'd probably say something similar to the Rams, to be honest. I mean, they need a team that's young but not on the brink of like big success, because no one's going to want to lose a team that they think is going to have a good playoff run. So
Right.
you've got to look at someone who's a couple of years away from making something happen. So yeah, the Rams would probably be a good choice. Yeah.
And plus, I want the Rams because I want to see my Buccaneers play.
Want to see them come out here. All right. So last couple questions, guys, having to do with the Lakers. So we talked a little bit before the podcast about how Kobe hasn't even contacted the new guys or any of the rookies that's come on to the team. It's Kobe. I feel like he's a bad babysitter because he has this entirely different mindset of what's going to actually happen. He has this whole worldview that they're just going to win a title or contend every single season because he's magically on the team and he's like, I don't know, Captain Cocoa Puffs or something. But is he going to be able to mesh with these players at all?
It's going to take time. I kind of like his old school aspect in a way because like it's like you got to go to Kobe. He's not going to come to you. That's just the way it is. It's not good for team chemistry, but you've got to respect his focus on winning and nothing else, even if he doesn't care about rookies. But I think it's going to take him a long time to gel, to be honest. They got a lot of street ballers as well, like Nick Young, Lou Williams, Kobe, all putting up shots constantly. It's going to be a weird mix, so I'm not sure how it's going to work out for a while.
What about you, Aaron? Is Kobe going to be too much of a distraction for the younger guys?
I really don't think so. I think he's really going to help out D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell's been struggling in the D League so far in the Summer League, so I think that he helps out D'Angelo Russell where all the pressure is not really on D'Angelo Russell. Kobe's going to be shooting more. He's going to be shooting the same. Randall's going to be in the 4 spot helping out, and then they're going to have Hilbert on the post, so it's really going to help out a lot with the rookies.
Randall looks good. I like the look of Randall. Yeah.
Yeah, he looks really good.
He's really good in the post. He looked really strong in Summer League, so that's a bright spot for sure, yeah.
And I think Jordan Clarkson's going to help out D'Angelo Russell more than Kobe will.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Jordan Clarkson could be the league's best player this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Clarkson's going to explode because his rookie season was not how rookie seasons are supposed to be. What do you think you see from Clarkson, Aaron?
I just feel like he's more confident in the way he goes in the lane. He's just more, he shoots more. I think he's just more confident in his more play. I think it's going to help him a lot.
Across the league, what team do you see as the best kind of underdog? Maybe a team that's kind of floated under the radar in free agency, hasn't been making big splashes in the playoffs recently, but could make a big run and surprise a lot of people this season. Is there a team?
I think it'd be the Milwaukee Bucks. I think they are. I think they can be a top contender, maybe above the Chicago Bulls. I would take them along. They got the young talent. They got picked up Graham Monroe. That was a good splash in free agency. So I think they got a lot of talent around there. They can spread the ball, and they don't really have one main man that they got to give it to. So I think the Milwaukee Bucks are going to be a top tier in the East.
Tom?
I'd probably say the Miami Heat going again with the Eastern Conference. Like I think they have a genuinely good starting 5, not just for Eastern Conference standards. Like they got Goran Dragic back. Justice Winslow was a really good signing. He's got some shoot. He's got a bit of 3-point shooting. He's a good defender. take a bit of pressure off Wade. Obviously, he's a bit of a question mark. He'll probably only be around half the season anyway. But they've got a really good front court with Whiteside and Bosch as well. So no, I'd say they could be a one to watch out for.
What about the Western Conference?
Western Conference. You go first, Tom.
Okay.
I got to think about it.
I'm tempted to say the Pelicans. I'd like to see if they can make something happen just with Davis alone.
Right.
I'm not sure how far they'll get. Equally, the Houston Rockets again. Ty Lawson was a good pickup. Like if he can work things out with James Harden. I know they obviously did really well last season as well, but I think they have got stronger with Ty Lawson. That backcourt is really good. Great passing. So yeah, they could be one to watch out for again.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the Oklahoma Thunder. I know they're not really a sleeper, but they're gonna be considered low on the radar. They're gonna be considered maybe a 6-8 seed, maybe the most. I just think with Kevin Durant coming back, Russell Westbrook, I think they're gonna mesh back together. I think that will help them a lot. And I don't think if they don't do anything, I think Scott Brooks is out of there this year for sure.
Last question for you guys. Mark Cuban of the Mavericks recently introduced to a lot of the owners the idea of a 10-team playoff, maybe even more, maybe adding it to 12 teams from the normal 8 per conference. Is that a good idea, dumb idea? What's your guys' take on that?
He's just jealous he won't get into the playoffs, I think, because he's lost DJ. No, I think that's a bad idea. I think the only way they should change the playoff picture would be if you just pick the top 16 teams over conference rather than having 8. Yeah, regardless of conference, just took the top 16 teams overall, even if that means you've got like 12 from the West. I think that's the most fair way to do it.
I think it's a dumb idea to add more teams. It's just good the way it is to 8. I still think they got rid of the seeds, but I still think they should separate by conferences. I just think that's the way it should be. I don't like the way they added all the way the teams. I don't think it really meshed together. I think they should keep it separate. But just the way it is, just get rid of the seeds.
I think Cuban's just a little sore, a little bit like the whole Jordan thing.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he went as far as to, I think it was Colin Cowherd's show he was on, that he compared that whole situation to makeup sex.
Yeah.
If you're going to that extreme, of course you're gonna start saying crazy stuff. It's like a breakup. When a friend or someone you know goes through a relationship breakup, when you hear both sides of the story, those sides are really interesting because they don't match up. All right, guys.
What really shocked me was when they got Darren Williams. That really shocked me. I don't know how that worked out, but they got him.
And all of their point guards had the same birthday. I saw that too.
Oh, really? That's weird.
Crazy. All right, guys. Well, thank you for sticking around. Thanks for hopping on the podcast.
That's right. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. We'll have you guys on some more episodes. Be sure to check out Clipperholics on Twitter, Facebook, and their main page. Also with LA Sports Hub, we got all sorts of social media. And don't forget to be checking out for updates on the 2015 World Games in LA. Special Olympics are kicking off next week. Opening ceremony. We may get a chance to sit down with Michelle Obama, so stay tuned for that. And we'll see y'all next time, all right?